Welcome. This is Grammy Queen. If you are joining us for the first time, this is the channel where we are having lots of fun with words and numbers, numerology to be precise. This is where we are igniting that which dwells from within us, that which comes alive, makes us smile, makes us laugh. Hence we say the crimson light is life. So the crimson light is our journey to actualizing self-full love. It's whatever helps us to become better expression and versions of who we truly are. Okay, so if you're new to this channel, this is the template that we work from. This is Mother Eve, and we're doing scriptural derivatives of the meanings of what we have learned and see how they impact on us and how we apply those meanings and sentiments in our everyday life. But really, it's with specific intention to see how we can get meanings and versions of what we have learned and see whether they really serve us, and if they don't, see how we can flip them or turn them or accept them or reject them. It's really learning how to make sense of where we're at in terms of growing and becoming better expressions of ourselves. So that's what we're about here on this channel. It's about love. It's what will help us to get to where we want to be. Okay, so we also use the word water as part of the template, if you like, and revelation to really help us, because these are words we believe have strong functions to expressing transparency in what we do and say. Of course, by that we can see what we are holding on to and what we are refusing. Okay, so I had been doing presentations on number 9, and we have done from numbers 1 to 9 really, but we are revisiting the numbers and hence how we got on to 9. But of course today I want to pay attention to number 10, which is also number 1. So in essence, we are looking at the last 2 digits of any number that really comes up through a word, for instance, and on those last 2 digits, we see the structure, the construct of its makeup, and make sense to make sense of its meaning. But really, in numerology, which is what we are working with here on this channel, we are looking at the single digit prominently. Okay, so let's see if there's oh, this is our magnet. This is really just magnetic, of course. This is number 9, but here we see it's number 3 really broken down. So I have done presentations on that, and I was very pleased to see how we could depict the vibrant action or activity of number 3. This is all number 3. Of course, when we have it this way, it's an M, and this way it's a W and 3, and of course this is E. So we see how these work out. All right. So today, yes, we are looking at number 10, our number 1. And as I say, we have done this before, but since we are working on the word sacrifice, I thought it'd be good for us to look at of course, the word sacrifice again, because the word sacrifice it does equal 10. So let's just quickly look at the word sacrifice again. It's really what we hinge on, and perhaps it's really a good idea that we revisit that which we are hanging on to, so we really get a full sense of what that is or what it means to us. Sacrifice. Okay. And so if we do this, 1 1 3 9 9 6 9 3 5. Okay, so here we see the word sacrifice really has got quite a few 9s, which in fact today is the 9th of August 2017, and this is the it's the representation of birth, of renewing our it's the new life, it's the new birth. Okay, for number nine. So we have done quite a few presentations on number nine, and so we are looking at just really scanning the construct of the word sacrifice here. We see it has that three, two threes, which is that vibration that I've been talking about, which is an E, or it's either a W or it's an M. So we see even with that, it's that free gives us its the dynamic of its construct of what it's able to do. So it's really, it goes round. It is mother, it is breast, it is water, it is money, it is that M, it is three it is freedom, because when we do the numerical value for freedom, it equals 3. For yes, so there we are looking at sacrifice, and if we add this together, of course, this is 8 and 9, 17, and 6 is 9, 17, and 6 is 23, and 9 is 32, 41, 44, 45, 46. So we have 46 here. 4 plus 6 equals 10. Okay. So we see sacrifice is 10. Now that word, this we have learned, like for instance, where we the word sacrifice derives from in this stage. Of course, there were sacrifices before Christ. They would sacrifice the lamb. We hear about the lamb, Lamb. Okay, so we have lamb, which is 2, and we have that M here, okay, 4, 1, 3. So here we have 6 and 1, 7, and 3, 10. So we learn it's the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world. And here we have the sacrifice, which is for the sins of the world. So I'm thinking it is very important if we have in this context that sacrifice is something that was done for the sins of the world to help eradicate sin, or help us accept love or understand love. And here, this was what would be required, of course. A lamb would be required, and hence it is said that Christ took the place of the lamb, Christ is referred to as the Lamb of God. Okay, so we see lamb, and the numerical value is 10. Now that tells me that 10, in both instances here, there is a pureness about the number 10. There is a balance of the number 10. Even so, like the 3 as well, which is that it has two domes. It has two domes, but it's balanced. It's like which I also call it, of course, it's the W. But there's that aspect with the 10, the number 10, and although the 0, in fact, it'd be good to do the numerical value for 0, and we have done the numerical value for 1. So the numerical value for 1 is 7. So 1, we've done this. This is 5, 5, 6. So this is 10 and 6, 16. So 16, 1 plus 6 is 7. Okay, now 7 we know, we have done this several times. We know that God rested on the 7th day. This was the day of rest. Okay, but we are one, and we can see that there is that one. The 6th day we are of everything God created. So 6 days of creation and the 7th day of rest. So here we see that how there is a sense of oneness or whole with the number 7, but we also see that with number 10, which is what we are concentrating on. So let's just look at 0, for instance. It's just come to mind, and so I thought it'd be good to address that and see if there is anything that ties in a way that we can make better sense of the numbers. Okay, so we have 0. We have 6, and 6 plus 9 is 15, plus 5 is 20, and then we have 8, so that's 28. Now that's interesting because 28, 2 plus 8 is 10. So so perhaps what I am getting here is, not perhaps, it's one way of really looking at this. It's that, like I have been saying on this channel, there have been two gods in creation, or as far as the scriptures, the story of the scriptures with the story of creation. That is where I am coming from with this. So, like I am saying that there was Mother Eve and co-creator with God, or there were two gods in the in that story before, or is transparent in this story before we speak of Adam, where Adam was created. So this is here with this 0. This is an aspect of that God that we see here in this story. So there is God, if you like, God 0. And of course, this is perhaps where it is said that there was nothing, and then of course we were told, and God, the Spirit of God, moved upon the face of the deep, and those sort of things. So we see where that 1 comes in. Now there's another thing. So the 1, we see it as 7. There's an aspect of wholeness. And if we were to add 1 and 7, of course, 1 and 7, that would be 8. And so we can see how with number 8 here, this gives us that figure of infinity. It gives us a sense of wholeness. That is the figure that says there is whole, or everything really is 0. We could say that. So we could also say that it's the movement, a combination of 1 and 0 that forms that 17 when we add the word God. When we add 7 and 1 here, when we add this together, so we do the numerical value for God. Let's take off sacrifice. We have seen what sacrifice can do. Take away the sins of the world. Okay, so God, and we have 764. So of course, when we add 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 7 is 17. So here we see that we have 17, like it will here, that when we do the numerical value for the number 10, that's when we break it down. We break down 1, we do the numerical value for 1 and the numerical value for 0. We see that we have, of course, 0 is 10, which shows the power of 0 as well. It's like why we are told that there was nothing and something came out from something. It sort of comes back onto itself. It's like showing the dynamics, or the potential. It shows its potential. It's like looking at something from one angle, and then you turn and you think, oh, but I thought it was round. It has another dimension to it. So that's what's happening there. And that which correlates, of course, with the moon cycle as well. So there we are. We can see how 1 equals 16 or equals 7. Let's be specific here. And the 0 here equals 10, which is 1. We are taking in the last digit. So, of course, 1 plus 7 and yeah, 1 plus 7 is 8. And we have 8 here. 1 plus 7 also equals 8 right here. Okay, now this is, of course, we have done the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world, but we can see how that 10 comes into that figure of infinity. It's 8. Hence, we go back to the story of how we learn that Eve ate of the fruit. So, meaning we see how in the scriptures that we have been looking at numbers, or when we read numbers, without we think of the symbolic representation of the number and not doing the numerical value, we see a difference. And but this difference here shows us the workings of how God is presented through the numbers. So hence we see the Lamb of God. So the Lamb, it's like the structure of God in essence. It's like saying, and it's not to take away the magnitude of the God ability or the vastness of God, but we're just looking at this from a numerical standpoint where we can begin to make sense of how we understand the scriptures that has impacted on our lives so profoundly through the word sacrifice. So we can see sacrifice in essence is something presented to us. If we look at it closely, is something presented to us in its entirety, in a sense of saying there is one and there is a zero. And how can I put these elements together to make something happen or to optimize the essence of what I want to see happen? It's like the polarities or the positive and the negative, the opposites, and how we can use them together. So, join me again. Let's really look at this sacrifice on a deeper understanding, and other words, of course, that has the same numerical value, but let's see how we can really use this to become better versions and expressions of who we truly are. And now, of course, I just noticed the clock was on 17 minutes, but of course that has changed. So do join me. I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope you have found this fun. I hope you have found it delicious. This is a subject that I do find delicious, and I hope you will too. Okay, because I want to know, because I want to grow. All right. Thank you for joining me. And that's why we are exploring these teachings. So I hope you will leave your comments, do like, subscribe, and of course, be ignited because we are planting new seeds. Namaste. And spill over with love.